Hello and welcome back to 1000 Gurus. Please welcome my guest, Lisa. Applause, applause, applause.
I'm like unsure of where to look.
Yeah, anywhere you want. I mean, you can stare at yourself if you want. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. You're totally not nervous, and you haven't been
Extremely
telling me the
nervous.
last few weeks. But this will be fun, kind of like what Solomon and I just said off camera. I think it'll be fine. Let's see. Let me go straight into how I know you. So we met when you joined Choreos in 2022, I believe, right? Like winter. You were a mid-year lemon, so winter melon, and we had a handful of mutuals in the K-pop cover community. And so I've heard of you before you joined the team, and then eventually you joined the team, and then our fam, and then we started dancing together for a few years, and then we have like family hangouts and food adventures here and there, and then your birthday parties at your house, all the way in the Empire near Hemet. And let's see, this was your last year in choreos, but you're still kind of doing some dancing. And yeah, you've made that commute, which is pretty far. How long is your drive typically?
Without traffic,
Yeah.
it's like an hour 45.
Hmm.
With traffic on a bad day,
Yeah.
which is like usually
Usual.
every day that I have
Yeah.
to go to choreos, it's like 2.5 hours up to.
Nice. Perfect. Um, at
That's
least,
one way.
yeah, and it still sucks either way, but I guess it's nice because maybe a Tesla makes that drive a little bit more bearable, right? We'll go
That's what
into
I got it for.
right. We'll go into your Tesla driving experience in a bit. Um, and yeah, so then you've also been our PR manager on Choreos on Elsher for the last 2 years. Is that it? Any other clarifications we should know about, or what else are you up to, Lisa?
I think that's it. It sounds like my whole life revolves around choreos,
Yeah.
which it basically did.
I mean, at
But
least it had for a couple years, right?
yeah, but I'm excited to try new things now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, I've already read your bio by now in the audio version, so they know kind of what you're up to. Like you do, you're a dental hygienist, and you've been doing that for a little bit. You used to live in OC, and now you still do that. You still dance, and then you're a big foodie as well with your like food blog, and then you and I are both Yelp elites. So sometimes we'll do different events and stuff. So I guess this is a random show because Lisa is so nervous. She didn't want to be interviewed. So we'll just be talking about random topics, which is why I don't really have any. We have sort of planned topics, but not really.
Mhm.
So anything else you want to say or how you feeling before we jump in?
Nope, I'm just excited to yap, I
So
guess.
excited. Yeah.
I was like, I don't really have much to offer wisdom wise, but I can yap. So we'll do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the whole point of the show is that I think on the surface level, you think only accomplished people have wisdom to offer. But in my opinion, I think everyone does. You just have to kind of dig in and ask the right questions and kind of approach it with like curiosity, you know?
Mhm.
So yeah, we'll talk about the first topic, which is, again, mostly focused on you, but that's totally fine because I'm curious. But so as PR manager, you've kind of organize these collabs with different K-pop idols, like up and coming and whatnot, and you help the team have these kind of fun experiences, unique experiences, interacting with these professionals. I wanted to ask you if you had a list of like most interesting collabs or most fun collabs or like favorite artists you've worked with.
Um, well, most interesting would definitely be a Japanese group actually. They're called Psychic Fever, and they were the first Japanese group that, at least since I've been on choreos, that we've worked with. But they were, I guess, when you're an idol, you kind of have this like facade you have to put on for people, right?
Mm,
Like be friendly, like appreciate everywhere that you're going, what you're doing, all your fans, stuff like that. But like it was my first time seeing them show kind of like their mood.
oh,
Like
what do you mean by mood?
usually they're extremely happy regardless of whether they're tired or whatever because they have a lot of schedule and stuff. But not to bash them, but it almost seemed as if they didn't want to be there.
Very
But
human,
we just kind of like wrote it off as they were probably tired
right?
with
Their
previous
schedule,
stuff. Yeah, because they were in LA for maybe 1 to 2 weeks, which is a lot more than other groups usually would be because they did a lot. They um, met up with a lot of other influencers as well. So yeah, it was just interesting for me to see like they were almost too chill to a point where it's like, what are we doing
mm.
here?
Chill, like
So
as in not super formal.
yeah, but still like not putting on their like crowd pleasing kind of personality. So
Mm.
that was pretty interesting to
Is it
see.
because maybe it's there like a Japanese group that's different from like the K-pop groups that we typically work with? Like, is it a cultural thing maybe?
That I'm not too sure, just because we have worked with a couple other Japanese groups after them, and they were more kind of like friendly and excited to be there,
Mm.
or at least they made it seem like they were.
So they had more of like that sort of front-facing
Yeah,
idol
yeah.
like performance.
Hmm.
From when I was there at the shooting for that, like when we were filming on campus, it was during the protests, right? So we were kind of
Yeah.
trying to avoid those shots and like the loud activity going around. But it seemed like there were a couple of them who were super friendly and nice, and then there were some professional mood-looking ones, and maybe like one or two people who were kind of
Uh-huh.
like out of it. I kind of remember that, but I don't know if you had the same experience.
Yeah, no, you think it's like maybe that's their personality, but then it makes you feel like you're kind of stepping on their toes, so you can kind of
Mm.
back up a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Remember the one guy with the cowboy hat was super nice. The one who spoke
Oh yeah, he's
English.
my favorite, Suruki.
Yeah, he was like very accommodating. He kind of went up to us, and then like Bonnie had like a little breakdown, and then he was like comforting her because
Hmm.
of like the shots or something like that, like because she was filming. So was that an interesting collab, or do you have a story about like or a favorite artist that you worked with?
That was interesting one.
Yeah.
I do have like my favorite. Our most recent one was probably the most fun one that I did. It was for they're Korean, I think, but they have a lot of Japanese fans. So I don't know.
Mm.
They have Japanese music as well, but yeah, it's mainly in Korean. They're called Ensign. I think they've been around for a couple years, but I've never heard of them till now. But our collab, they were super chill. The staff was super chill, very accommodating, and they did not let language barrier become a problem because they were still really very much trying to engage with everyone. All the was it me? And then we had a couple other members, Bonnie and Aaron, there to like film support and everything like that. And then the actual dancers. So everyone was like having a great time. And then they invited us to their concert as well. And it came with all of like the not VIP perks,
Mm.
but like influencer perks. So like we got like a behind the scenes meet and greet with them.
Oh.
And then they gave us a extra meet and greet afterwards as well. So that was really fun. Most groups don't invite us out to their concerts and stuff like that. So everyone very much became a fan of Ensign
Mm.
that day. Um, and yeah, I think overall it was a pretty smooth process because they were super organized with it.
Mm. I guess my question is why PR? Like why did you end up doing this role?
Well, initially I signed up to do social media just because of what I wanted to do as PR. I just didn't know it was a role. So it was to like get opportunities for the team and just kind of get Choreos' name more known, I guess. People know Choreos already, but it's kind of like plateauing because I feel like the K-pop community, the dance community is growing a lot. So everyone's kind of just on the same playing field, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's like
So
growing and evolving and changing. So it's
uh-huh.
kind of like we also are trying new things and like kind of putting ourselves out there to grow with it.
Hmm. Yeah, it's cool and all, but for me, I just want choreos to still be that group that, like, if you're in the community, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then that on top of like just getting opportunities for the team because I wanted to market choreos in that way to potential auditionees, just to get people to be like, oh, they
Mm.
collaborate with a
Like
lot
get
of
them
people. It's
excited
really
about it.
cool. Yeah, I want to do those things. I should
Mm.
join choreos. So that was my passion.
Do you feel like it has panned out?
Yeah, for sure. I found out well, they didn't make it into the team, unfortunately, but there were people that wanted to join choreos for that reason. So at least my plan for that to happen
Hmm.
played out.
Mm.
But going into it, I did not have any PR experience actually. So it was really just passion driving me at that point.
Yeah.
We had a Triple S collab, which is a pretty known girl group. And that was the very first thing I managed to get on my own, like right off the bat on L ship. And so I did not know what I was doing, but I think it went pretty well. So
Mhm.
yeah, I was just nervous the whole way.
Yeah. I
I'm
feel
just
like
nervous.
I feel like most of like what we do on the team, like as leaders, it is just kind of like passion leading the way, and we kind of figure out as we go. Especially for our younger teammates who don't have an experience in anything, they're kind of just figuring out, and that's the whole point. What do you feel like are some good tips or advice for doing PR really well now that you've kind of been in this position for a couple years?
I don't know about pretty well because I don't know if I did pretty well, but I feel like good communication is probably just the main thing you need.
What is
And
good
then,
communication?
um, well, other positions on the team kind of just, what is it, communicate with maybe one or two people to do their job. But for PR, you kind of have to communicate with everyone and kind of update everyone about what's going on, what we need to do um, before, during, and after so that everyone's on the same page. And so it's like if um, details fall through the cracks, then people kind of mess up and that makes us look unprofessional.
Mhm.
And so it's really just asking all the details that we need to know, communicating all those details to the people that need to know, and just everyone being on the same page.
Mm. What about like any advice or things that you've learned about getting those opportunities? Like, how would you advise someone? Okay, if you're a team, K-pop team or whatever, and you're trying to find those opportunities and get them for your team, what do you think are some of the best advice?
Well, right now, social media is a big driving force to kind of get groups' names out there so that agencies can kind of see, hey, these people get engagement. Maybe they can be of benefit to us. Because at the end of the day, everyone, it's a business for everyone. So they're just finding ways to make themselves, like get themselves out there more. And we're also trying to get ourselves out there more. And so um, there's that. And then,
So just like building a platform is the most
yeah.
important thing. Because if you have a engaged platform and the businesses companies see that, they're like, oh, let's work with this person. It seems like the collab would benefit both of us, right?
And then the main thing Choreos has that a lot of groups don't is we already have kind of we're like a namesake already in the dance community, and so a lot of agencies already know Choreos as being one of the biggest groups in LA. They have all this following, all these subscribers and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
so we have that one advantage going for us for sure.
Okay. So that's kind of like the key for overall key for trying to get those opportunities is
Mhm.
building up that platform and making a brand.
Yep.
I guess I don't know if you had any questions, but my last question on this topic is what does it take to be a good leader? I know that's a very broad sort of question, and I know our experiences will be different, but I don't know. What do you think is important for leading an organization like this?
Um, well, one thing for sure is like patience and empathy. Those two going hand in hand to keep figuring out solutions, trucking on, and then they find that you're capable of kind of taking all this in, fixing it, and moving on, and they trust you to do those things a little better. And then also being firm with your decisions and just kind of it's okay to be unsure, but once you make a decision, kind of sticking with it, even if there's some pushback, um, you can work through it, but still kind of stand your ground. And that way, people feel like you're more confident. Um, and I think overall respect as well, because what is the saying? It's like you have to. It's not exactly, but you have to respect people to receive that respect
Mm.
kind of deal. So, yeah, I think all of that on top of respect is just, for me, the foundation of being a good leader.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I agree with all of those points. Anything else beside before we move on to foodie topics and stuff?
I don't think so.
I think mostly what I want to ask you about in terms of this topic is like, so why food blogging and how'd you get into it?
Um, well, I like to eat first and foremost. Um, but for food blogging specifically, I think as of now, I just wanted a place to kind of document everything that I've tried just to keep track and like have like a review of it as well, like an honest review. Because eventually I wanted to go into kind of like the foodie influencer type of platform, but I'm still a little nervous about that just because um, a lot of accounts out there are more of like, this place is really cool. It's their food and drinks are super pretty.
Mhm.
Like everything tastes great here. And then a lot of people go and they're like, no, it's definitely mid.
Mm.
So I wanted to be more of an account that was like honest, but I have this fear of like, what if I go somewhere and it's like really bad and I make this video saying everything here is
Flaming
really
them.
bad. Yeah, and then
And
I
they get
ruin
famous
their
for being flamed.
business.
Thanks, Lisa. Our livelihood's gone because of your video that went viral.
Yeah, but I don't
You're like, I
know.
want to be honest, but also I don't want to hurt people. So
Exactly.
maybe I'll just give everything a 9 and up. Like,
So I wanted a happy medium of that, but I don't know how to do it yet.
that's so
So I gotta
funny.
figure that out
So you
soon.
don't want to be like those marketers who are just promoting something for the
Yeah,
money and not really honest. And then you
yeah,
see in the comments, no, this place sucks.
for sure.
I see that sometimes too, where I'm like, okay, your shots look great and the food looks really pretty. And then we look at the menu and you're like, okay, prices look decent. And then you see the comments and you see the Yelp comments. And you're like, wait, this place looks like it sucks. And
Yes.
then it kind of is. I hate those videos where it's like, oh, I'm tired of gatekeeping this place. I'm like, you're not gatekeeping. Your video is viral and you did this on purpose. You're not gatekeeping anything. It's just a hook. Ugh, that annoys me the most. Yeah, I don't know. What about so like your Yelp experience? So we're both Yelp elite, and like we go to these events and whatnot. I don't know how is it like. I feel like it's deja vu. These first two topics are the same things I talked about with Shirley on her
Uh-huh.
episode, Shirley from Shiro. But anyways, it's just dance
We're
and
like the
foodie stuff.
same.
Yeah, you're pretty much the same. Yeah. So like, how has Yelp gone for you?
For me, I mainly use Yelp as a platform to find places that are near where I am. Um, Not necessarily like to look at reviews and go based off of them because I like to try places whether they're good or bad to make my own kind of opinion. Um, but writing reviews is fun until I realize I'm going to a lot more places and I need to be writing them more consistently.
Mm.
So that's my only downfall with
Oh,
Yelp.
there's like a backlog of reviews you have to write.
Yeah. But being elite is fun because you get to go to these events. I I was convinced that JR was the one that nominated me when I got my Yelp elite
Mm.
for some reason, but um
You can
yeah, we've
nominate
been
yourself. You know that, right?
yeah, but I didn't know that was a thing.
Mm.
So I knew you were Yelp elite and you were the only one I knew that was. So I was like, maybe he nominated me.
Anyone can nominate you, and then you can nominate yourself. So
Uh-huh. But
yeah,
like, who would nominate me? Because
you
I
know, I
was
also
barely writing reviews.
do you know anyone else who's active on Yelp?
No, you're the only one.
I
That's why I
think
was like, what?
I suspect that also sometimes the community managers will go through Yelp profiles and then do that
Oh.
because I don't even know who nominated me. I don't know if I nominated myself. It was like years ago, but I have a feeling community managers go through and see who's like really active and then kind of throw
See,
you
I
in there.
wasn't though. That's why
I
I
don't
was
know then.
convinced it was
I don't
JR.
know unless now if you're saying that maybe it's just Yelp's platform just throws people in and then you're like, oh, I got nominated. Let me put some effort in now.
Didn't earn it.
Yeah. But no, I mean it's been fun for me too, like, free food and stuff like that. I'm pretty tight with my community manager in Long Beach. Like he throws me into a lot of like different events and I would say hi to him and he's super chill. And then yeah, like if there's extra seats, he'll like throw me in as well, but he has like some of the best events, like Long Beach shout out. Um what was I going to say? The reason why I like Yelp is because it's more honest than like those Instagram sort of posts
Mhm.
where it's just all hype and fluff and stuff like that. Or at least I can go to Yelp and be like, okay, I get the general vibe of what people do and don't like about it. and then based on like the price and experience, like I'm the same. I like to try places out for myself, but then I'm pretty honest with the reviews. Like places I like will get 4 stars. Places that are amazing that go above and beyond, I'll give them. I save the fives for them.
Mm.
But then like if you get a 4 for me, like that's already amazing. But I know businesses they prefer fives. Like I don't know what to tell you. This is how I scale them. But then once in a great while, I'll save my 1 stars for like this was just a shitty experience, and whoever was I interacted with made it even worse. And so you deserve this one wholeheartedly.
Mhm.
But I don't know if you had similar experiences.
I don't usually put ones or twos unless it's really bad as well. For me though, like when I do my reviews and rating and stuff, it's mainly on the food. Like I a lot of times it's the aesthetic
Yeah.
and like the presentation of the food and everything really don't do much for me. And so it's like if your food tastes good and I guess if you have good customer service, like you get a 5.
Mm. Wait, but you're saying tastes good in customer service, but you don't consider the aesthetics or the price?
Not really.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Um, well, that was my question was like, what do you look for in good experiences? So I guess that if you're a business and you
Mhm.
want Lisa to give you a 5, just make sure the food tastes good and you're
For
nice to her.
sure.
Do you have any recs in IE, OC, LA, top recs? I know it's a huge list, but
Yeah. No, I feel like OCLA is there's way too many like good places,
mm,
but IE
oh,
um
it's a smaller group,
yeah,
smaller like
it's yeah,
range.
not much good food out there, you guys.
Mm,
But some gems that I found at least in the 2 years I've lived out there, um they're more lower down towards like Temecula, but it's kind of like Din Tai Fung. It's called One More Bite Dumpling House. It's in Wildemar. Um Looks like a mom and pop shop, not too sure if it is, but I feel like their food is pretty up to standard
mm,
with like Din Tai Fung, Paradise Dynasty, places like that. Um there's also a really good all you can eat sushi place called Ryu Sushi
mm.
in
How
Temecula.
do you spell that?
RYU
Oh, Ryu,
Sushi.
like dragon.
Yeah.
Mm,
Um they look like just a regular all you can eat sushi place, but I find that their fish quality for being in Temecula is really good.
mm. Yeah, it's hard for the fish to make it out there. There's no water to swim through. Um, I since as a person who is all over Inland Empire, OC, and LA, what are your go-to boba milk tea shops?
I don't I don't have a go-to just because I just like to try whatever's out there. But I think I typically recommend like June B. I know some matcha connoisseurs will probably flame me for that one
I mean,
first,
Chelsea likes Junbi, right?
but people flame Chelsea for liking June
Well,
B.
whatever. Chelsea consumes by volume more matcha, I'm sure. Her blood is like half matcha.
Yeah, June B and I like Half and Half Tea House. I
Mm.
know they're not great or much,
What do you
but
like about them?
they just haven't failed me yet. I've tried different flavors and they've all at least to me, my palate have appealed it. So
Mm. Okay, so then those would be your top places that you would recommend. What about like if you could just well, the first one is if you could just teleport there and get your favorite drink or favorite place, what would that place be? And then two, by volume, where do you go the most?
mm, if I could teleport, probably Jam Jam.
What is Jam Jam?
Jam Jam Tea Lab. They're
Where's that?
in Irvine. I don't know if they're Taiwanese or what type of boba
Mm,
shop, but they have a lot of fresh fruit, like brewed tea type of drinks
mm,
that I really like. Their milk teas are really good as well.
mm,
Um, but yeah, they're out in Irvine, so I'm not there often. Um, by volume, probably share tea.
mm. I'm the same, just by volume too.
Mhm.
Sure, tea's like pretty decent too.
Yeah.
Like I'm gotten used to them.
And
I
especially with inflation and everything,
oh,
they're
that's right.
still relatively on the cheaper end
That's
in most
true.
places.
I feel the same way about Seven Leaves as well. I mean, everyone knows that I tops like I pref Seven Leaves just by volume and just by recommendations, but yeah, haven't failed me at least. Anything else on food or food blogging and stuff like that before we move on to these random topics?
No,
No, no Rex or anything. How can people become a great foodie like yourself?
I would not know because I'm not
Mm,
kidding.
just take
Just
pictures
be
of food.
honest. Be honest.
Be
Take nice
honest, but not too
pictures. That's it.
honest, because you don't want them to go out of business. Just on the off chance that your post blows up. Cool. All right. First random topic is driving a Tesla. So, you've had a lot of interesting challenges with driving a Tesla, but I'm sure you've enjoyed your experience driving it. I'm sure it's helped with like driving. But do you do you have any personal challenges along the way that you had?
He's laughing because he knows.
Of course, I asked the question knowing what the answer is.
Well, I got the car mainly because I knew I'd be commuting a lot. So it was like on the tail end of me moving out to the IE, and I knew I wanted to stay on Coriolis. So um that's what I thought I would be saving on. But because of all the driving, I'm spending a lot to charge anyways
Mm,
because one full charge is there and back, unfortunately.
mhm. And
Um,
the wear and tear, right? Because you have to like
yeah,
maintain.
no, the amount of bugs on my front bumper.
And any accidents or damages that happen to happen.
um, so I got a windshield crack.
Oh, really? What kind of crack?
I was told after the fact that Tesla windshields are especially weak to, to
Interesting.
rock
Why?
chips.
Interesting.
But yeah, I got it on the way to choreos practice, surprise. Um, and it immediately cracked like a long gash the same day. So it was
Nice.
past repair already. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just kind of leave it until it's too bad.
How long did you leave it for?
2 years.
2 years. Wow, that's crazy. So how big did this crack get?
By that point, it got all the way across. So for visualizing,
I
it
love this.
started in the top right corner and then it cracked literally all the way to the bottom left.
I like this visual because imagine a map of the United States, right? And then now put a point where like Maine is, and now draw like a road trip all the way down to like San Diego. That's what her windshield looked like by the end of 2 years. Just a whole road trip down the U.S.
That's not even the worst part though. I got it fixed
Yeah.
recently.
Hmm.
And then 3 weeks in, I hear this like whistling sound. I just leave it because I thought it'd go away. But then I tell them, hey, there's a whistling sound. And
Always
they're
the
like,
way.
okay, take it in. I take it in. They're like, oh, it was a little misaligned. So we fixed it.
The windshield.
Yeah.
Mm.
So they fixed it. A week after that, I got another rock chip.
Ah, perfect. Where is this rock chip placed
It was,
on the map?
it was on the driver's side. It's probably in Oregon.
Oregon, like the northwest.
Yeah, but thankfully I got that one repaired. My
You're like,
boyfriend,
nope, not this time.
yeah, he got a little kit. He helped me repair it. I can still kind of see it, but if you put the sunshade down, you can't.
There you go.
So
Just cover it up. That's how you deal with problems.
yep. Well, I repaired it.
Yeah.
Not great, but I repaired. It
Mhm.
would be $170 to repair just the tiny little. I don't have insurance for windshields, which I should.
Which now with this experience. Also,
Yeah.
it's funny because like the handful of times I've driven in your car, you're like, I'm a great driver. And then like during that trip, it's like you like scrape against something. I'm
He
like,
always makes that noise
like,
anytime I go through a drive-through, and it gives me
but
anxiety.
even then, you still sometimes you like just kind of little like the rim scrape, and I'm like, Lisa, you just said you're a good driver, and you're showing me the opposite.
It's just when you're in the car.
Ah, so
Just you.
it's just my availability heuristic.
Yep.
Um, you, I think you said you were gonna ask me like if I would get a Tesla.
Yeah.
I think I still would. I think it just once it makes sense to, because like I got my car what like 5 years ago. It still runs fine, and like I always like to save like money on those sort of big purchases. So until I need one, I'm probably gonna hold off on it. But I would say give me like at least a couple more years because I do like the idea of having technology that's updated for something that I'm driving. So many hours.
Mhm.
So I am drawn to that. But I don't want my car to get graffitied as well. But I'm sure that won't be a problem.
I'm still stay from it. I
Yeah,
think you'll be fine.
that's good. Let's see. Uh, I don't know if you had any other questions, but I have another one. This is another random question, but what is one thing you've changed your opinion on drastically compared to when you were younger?
Mm,
She already wrote out all her
I
answers. She's
did,
just trying
but
to
I'm
remember
trying to,
them.
yeah, having kids.
Mm,
So, um, I guess growing up, I've always had this like traditional mindset from my parents. So it's like, oh, you get married, you buy a house, you have kids, they get grandkids,
mhm.
stuff like that. So I always have done the thing where it's like, oh, I want this many, I want the boy or the girl first, I want to name them this, this, and that. But then growing up, as I realized my flaws, my
What flaws?
discovering
Your
I
inability
have
to write honest
flaws. I'm
posts?
human.
Your honest food reviews? Is that your flaw? And maybe driving sometimes?
Anyways, yeah, realizing my flaws, discovering new personality traits, like new like any desires and stuff like that. I realized that maybe I'm not fit to be a mom or
Mm,
at least take care of kids in general. Um like I can do the hanging out with them, teaching them lessons, short periods of time for stuff like that. But I don't think I could do the the tasks that they depend on you for, if that makes sense.
like
Like
what?
changing diapers, feeding them,
Aren't those
so
things
like
that are like,
taking care
aren't
of
those
a
just basic
human.
tasks?
No.
You don't think those are learnable?
No, I can be the cool aunt. That's
Oh,
what I can be. But it's funny because like on choreos or like even just like throughout my life, I've always been the mom friend. I have littles on choreos, as you know, that they kind of refer to me as mother. So
mm.
I can kind of help be there, guide them, give them advice, listen to them, hang out, stuff like that. But they don't depend on me for
For
anything.
living.
Yeah.
So it's not the position of being a mother and being
Hmm.
there for them, but you're saying it's just the actual tasks like changing
Yeah.
diapers?
Like taking care of a human.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
think I
see,
can do
and
it.
you're the oldest of three siblings, total four,
Yeah,
right?
total four. Yep.
And so I imagine you are kind of like that figure. But the cool thing is, or I don't know, the interesting thing is you also have a big family and you live with your parents. So I
Mhm.
feel like that would help to raise a child, wouldn't it? Because you have like a support
It
system.
would if they depended on me for those things. Like even raising pets, my parents and my siblings do it, and I consider them
That's what I mean.
their
Is
pets.
like yeah,
And
you're the
they,
primary like caretaker of changing diapers, but at least you would have your family to like watch your kids and help with that, right? I feel like that would help.
I
I,
guess,
yeah,
but like you're doing most of it as the parent.
yeah, as the
So
primary
I guess,
caregiver of your children.
yeah.
Yeah,
Unless I just kind of hand it off to my mom at a
yeah.
visit. I'm like, hey, I'm here to visit my kid.
Or okay, just like your their foster parents. You're just
Yeah.
like, okay, here you go. Interesting. So it's mostly just that. Did you have like what do you mean by other flaw? I mean, the inability to do these tasks. I don't know. I don't agree. I feel like you can just learn those things. But that aside, are there any other aspects that you feel like for motherhood you lack at this moment? If you want to share.
um, I guess it's the discipline and also patience because I guess I realized it more recently because at the office I work at, there's a lot of elderly, but a lot of kids also come in.
Mm,
Um, and they come in not to get their teeth cleaned or looked at or anything, but they come in with their parents who can't find babysitters, and they're off in the corner. They're crying, they're messing with everything. Just like I can't deal with this right now. So it's a big patience thing.
mm. I mean, that's valid. I feel like.
Mhm.
Is there anything else that you feel like your opinion has changed a lot since you were younger, besides wanting to be a parent?
Not that I can recall.
Just like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So the next one is, as you've gotten older, how has your approach to friendships changed? Friendships, relationship with your parents, and etc. I'm just curious.
For friends, I don't know. I feel like it hasn't really changed. For me, all my friendships have always been like I don't need to benefit you in any way. You don't need to benefit me in any way. if we enjoy each other's presence, like that's enough for me to like put in the effort to maintain it. And if you decide you want to drop me, then sure, but I'm not going to be the first one to drop you.
Mm.
That kind of deal. I feel like I've
It's always
always
been
been
like
like
that.
that. Yeah.
Mm.
With my parents, um, low key, I sound like a terrible person, but
It's
low
fine.
key, I feel like it's also a patience thing. The older they get, the more just like it's their memory and asking for little things. And I don't know why my patience is a little lower with them when it's my maybe you asked this because it was my New Year's resolution. But um the resolution for this year was to be gentler with my parents in the way I talk to them. But I've just been a little more irritable with them as of recently. And I definitely realize it mainly because my mom nags about it all the time.
Mm.
But um,
She nags you about being irritated with her?
yeah,
Oh.
she insists that I'm just like always irritable and just always a downer in the family.
Mm.
But yeah, I know it and I'm trying to fix it, but it's definitely hard. Again, a patience thing.
Yeah. I feel like that's a normal thing too. I think a lot of people experience that, especially if you live with your family or your parents.
Mhm.
I think when I first lived with my parents after graduating college, it was kind of like that, like tensions. Actually, I was talking to my little brother about this. He just moved to the Philippines. He's going into his first year in high school, and he was telling me how he's never going to see this, but he was telling me how it's kind of hard with him and our parents because he loves them and respects them, but then they kind of like don't give him that same sort of respect. I mean, he's a child, right? And so like he has these ideas he wants to say, but then he can't because of that sort of culture of like you can't talk back to your parents, even if it's not disrespectful, it's still going to be perceived as that. So he kind of feels this sort of like angst about that, or this sort of, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like it's
Mhm.
like you can't really say something and but you like someone, you don't resent them, but you're in the situation where like you feel like like they talk down to you,
Mhm.
and so I think it makes sense when you live so close with them. And I told him, I was like, once you move out and you're your own adult, your relationship with them will get better. That's the reason why I'm so far away from my family, is because I don't want to resent them. And I know that if I'm too close with them, I will. And I have the same experience with, like with my parents and my siblings, mostly my sister and sometimes my parents, where it's like I'll spend time with them, but I have had 3 months to kind of like decompress from them. And then I can handle like maybe a weekend with them, but if I'm too close, sometimes I can get irritated as well. And so I've been consciously doing the same, trying to be better with like being more patient and gentler with how I interact
Mhm.
with them. And I think intentionally that's been helping a lot, at least for me. Yeah. I don't know. Did you have any other thoughts on that?
Um, I was gonna ask, do you feel like you well, I guess it doesn't really apply since you said it's kind of your relationship with your parents is a little better. But um, do you think you got any of the qualities from them? Because I asked that
Oh.
because my mom's always nagging me about like you're always nagging and you're always negative all the time and stuff like that. And I'm just like, you are the exact
That's funny.
same. It's like where do you think I got it from, you know? So you raised me and you're always like this. So it's inevitable that I'm the same way.
Mhm.
So yeah.
I don't, it's hard to, I know what you're saying. And I think most people are like that. I've gotten other things from my parents, but not this. I think I'm the most of my sister, my mom, and my dad and myself. I'm the most hard charging, like fire type, whatever. And I think it's just because I'm more like, I don't know. I want to say neurotic, but not really. But yeah, I don't know. There's other I've mentioned this on the podcast before. There's other things I gotten for them. Like my dad, he's very like he's very much a leadership, social type person. And even when I visit him, I'm always in awe with how easily he can just make friends with people around him. And I'm like, how do
Mhm.
you do that? Like
Maybe it's a dad thing.
it's
Mine's the
well,
same.
so one thing that I did get from him is just the dad jokes and the silliness. Like he's quintessentially that. He's bold a lot. He like, tells jokes. He works out. So like those are like three, four things that I'm like just a carbon copy of him. My mom, she's just a very like kind, gentle person, very generous, very grateful, and that's like the main things I got from her. But I think personality wise, like, well, no, because my mom is like the overbearing, protective type. She listens to all these episodes, so I know she's gonna hear this. But she is kind of like the, oh, like, oh, Sonny, like, make sure to like look both ways before we cross the street. And even with my little brother, who's like taller than both of us, like, if she's driving and she has to stop and she like kind of reaches over to like,
Yeah.
brace, I'm like, Mom, you're like half our weight and half our size. Like, what are you gonna do to? So my brother now is like that. So she's a little bit more overbearing on that. So like always communicating stuff like that, which is I think when you're growing up and you're trying to find out who you are and then you're an adult, it can be overbearing and it can kind of get on my nerves sometimes. But then it's on me to realize, like, obviously she's doing that because she cares, not to like actually bother me. And so my botherness is my own problem, not hers. And I think that's so, yeah, I definitely did not get that from her. I think that's just like a parent child thing, maybe. But
Who would you say you're more like?
Um, I I don't know. It's kind of I would like to say my dad because we just have so many similar personality quirks, but he's way more social and like that sort of like fun guy. And my mom is like, I don't know. She's very like soft and like sweet, but I'm not that, but I've gotten my values from both of them. So like
Mm,
in terms of what we believe in and how we act is the same, but personality type like way different. Yeah, I
I
don't know.
see.
Hard to explain. My sister is a lot like my mom, though. I feel like that. That's like pretty clear.
Mm.
Yeah.
All my siblings are like my mom, but my mom's
Mm.
always like, "You're just like your dad." And I'm
Mm.
like, I don't know if that's a bad or a good thing. I think my dad has great
What
qualities.
was your what is your dad like in that situation where she's saying you're like him?
It's that nagging and
Oh,
like negativity and stuff like
but
that.
you're saying
But
they both nag or she nags you.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why
Oh,
it's
interesting.
like,
So she's just like, oh,
yeah,
negative
that's
trait,
why
your
it's
dad.
like you're nagging.
Ah.
Like when she thinks I'm nagging, I'm like, you're literally nagging right now.
About my nagging.
Yeah, but I don't think me and my dad like necessarily nag that
Right.
much. It's kind of just pointing out things that she's kind of wrong or being unreasonable about, and she finds that as being nagging and negative.
I see.
So, yeah, I do think I'm like my dad as well though, and I find that it's not a problem at all to be like my dad
Mm.
because he's the same way where he's like super friendly and he has like extremely strong values about like family and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm pretty proud to be like my
Mm.
dad.
That's good. You said your siblings are more like your mom though.
Mhm.
Like in what are those qualities?
Um they she speaks her mind a lot. They don't actually, but everything else, they're more like her where it's like putting others first and just how do I say this? Their humor, their humor as well is also a little off-putting.
Mm.
I don't know, there's a lot of things. I can't quite think of it right now,
Mm.
but
Okay. Well, my next thing was like the question. I guess it doesn't really go anywhere, but it was what kind of parent would you aspire to be? You don't want to be a parent, right? At least at least as of right now. But if you had to, I guess, what kind of parent would you want to be?
um whichever one raises me to be like me. I'm just kidding. Raises my kids to be like me.
Oh, to be like
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Um I guess more more understanding. Um I don't
Understanding.
know.
That's it. Just
Yep, just
understand them.
understanding.
How does
Fun.
oh
That's what I'm saying, you guys. Like I'm
how do
gonna be
you
the
be
fun aunt.
understanding and how do you be fun? Like, what does that mean? Asking for a friend.
I don't know. I feel like you kind of need to be a superhero of all things to be a good parent.
I see.
Uh,
I see why the
like,
task seems daunting to you. Then,
yeah,
if you feel like you need to be a
yeah.
superhero,
Be understanding, forgiving, but also like strict enough, but not overbearing.
Mhm.
And then,
Oh, so a balance.
yeah,
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
yeah, just kind of be someone that your kids can open up to because I know for a lot of my friends, um, it's like their parents want them to open up to them, but it's like they're overbearing because they're protective, and so their kids don't want to share anything with them.
Mm,
And so, yeah, if I were to ever be one, I'm scared that's gonna happen.
yeah.
But and then if you're too relaxed, then they don't like obey. And I don't know. I also just want to be able to have strong enough values to be able to um, transfer that over to my kids as well, just so they grow up to be good, decent people.
Mm,
um, and the whole thing about like kind of putting them into different hobbies and stuff. I don't know if it's good to be the type where you just decide for them,
just put
put
them in
them in
everything.
whatever you want them to be,
Yeah.
and maybe they'll grow into it and become that, or
Mm,
you just let them try a million things, have them find out for themselves. But what if they never find something they like, you know? Happy mediums, it's hard.
yeah. I feel like I thought about that too. I feel like I would at least quote unquote force them into things that I know are useful. You know, like some sort of martial art, obviously. Hopefully some sport besides that. I think some sort of art type thing I think is good and like languages and whatnot. But other than that, I would still encourage them to try a lot of different things. My friend who is on the podcast, she's a Dorothy. She's a dance studio owner, and she said that what she recommends parents is to, even though their kids are sometimes too young to realize or to know what they really like, sometimes it's on the parent to just, keep them in and help them have that experience, like a more long term experience, because you don't really know you're good at it or you like it, or sometimes those are connected until you do it for a decent amount of time.
Mhm.
And I think that makes a lot of sense. If you just put them in for like a week, that's not enough for them to really experience anything. But maybe a year, a couple years, something like that is probably a little bit better gauge. So I feel like that's how I would approach it.
Mm.
Yeah. But I totally agree with the whole like being a parent. I think based on how I was raised, not that it's the same or different, but I would also want to be like a parent who obviously does my job, keeps them alive, but what I don't want to be is those parents who are like tiger parents who are overbearing, but also they try to kind of ready the path for their child instead of their child for the path.
Mhm.
Meaning they try to carve out all these things for them, do everything for them, or put them on this path because that's what the parent wants them to go, as opposed to equipping my kids with the mindset and the ability to get through anything, to commit to something, to follow through, to put in the hard work. And I wouldn't praise them for results, but I would praise them for effort and for like commitment. And then that will make them more ready for whatever path that they want. And I would never dictate what they would want to do. But to your point, to listen to them, to understand them so that I can identify what I feel like they want to do or what they're good at, and then help guide them in that direction, give them the resources. But other than that, I'd want them to become their own adults. And I
Mhm.
think that as a non-parent, I think my biggest critique for parents is like, don't try to make your kids into something that they're not, because that's just going to make them resent you. And that's not good for either of you. But if you do your best to provide a safe, comforting environment and then help them grow into the person they're meant to be and accept them as they are, they have a better shot at figuring out themselves in their life. Obviously, it's in theory, right? Like my parents have more experience with raising kids than I do, but that's just how I see it.
Would you say your choreos fam is your practice?
I mean, I guess so. I would like to think that it feels like it because it feels kind of like being a parent where it's like, okay, you want to do a lot for them and you want to show them that you care, you want to be there for them, and then you get nothing in return. That's what I feel like parenting is like. And now having my own children on choreos, it makes me appreciate my parents more because they did the same thing for the last 30 something years. Is they gave me everything. They didn't my I'm lucky my parents never really expected anything from me or they never asked me for anything. So I really appreciate them for that. But now that I'm older and I'm in this sort of parental position, I appreciate them even more for what they did because I didn't appreciate it or recognize it until now. Because it's like it's just there. You're like, oh, you're supposed to love me. You're supposed to give me all this stuff. You're supposed to whatever X, Y, and Z. And both my parents are like that. They just give to me without any expectations. And that's not how their parents were. And so now that I'm doing the same, I'm like, oh wow, I really should not expect anything in return because that's how it's like to be a parent. So I guess that's my main experience is like, oh, so this is what it's like being a parent. You don't get any rewards, but you just give, and then you learn how to be a giving, loving person unconditionally without. It's different than a friendship. Whereas like you expect the friendship to be mutual, where it's like, okay, like we kind of both input into this account of a shared friendship, and then sometimes we both withdraw once, and but we also input deposit into this account, and so we kind of have this mutual trust and respect, and then a relationship builds off of that, and it's we choose to be there. But with a parent child, in my opinion, it's like no, your kids will probably never appreciate or reciprocate your actions, but you do so anyway.
Hmm.
And that's what I learned from my parents is that you still do so anyways, because for most of my life, I don't think I appreciated them as much as I should have. And so I'm like, oh, that's what it's like. Okay, now I understand.
Mm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But I mean, I would want to have kids one day. I definitely still am on that track, I guess, just to answer the question
There you go.
is it would be nice, but not my timing. So
Jared's very much a father. It's funny because he does like boyfriend things where like he would do for his girlfriend Blessy and me and my little Alex. We'd be like, oh my god, he's a boyfriend. Like he's
yeah.
boyfriend thing
I
is so weird because we're like, no, JR's father.
yeah,
Like,
well, yeah, I mean, I guess you kind of just learn how to do that role, right? Like you just take care of the people you care about.
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's different, but yeah, it's also interesting because it's like I don't know. Aside from you, Lisa, I think honestly, you're the only person I would consider a friend out of my littles. I think my other littles, like I don't think they're my friends, which is a weird thing to say. I guess I try to understand the nuance of what I'm saying. Is like friends are like,
Because I'm old.
yeah, it's because she's old. Actually, that's the only reason why. Because it's like friends, you're kind of there for each other, right? And it's like you show up for each other, you invite each other to their parties and stuff like that. But for my other littles and grand littles, great grand littles, all this other stuff, like I know I'm not their friend, but I'm their big. So it's like I enjoy being that person for them, but I don't feel like I would consider them a friend. And I think it goes both ways. But except for you, present party excluded, because Lisa actually invites me to her birthday and parties, stuff like that. So, and she actually asks me to hang out and like eat with her. So I'm like, okay, Lisa is my friend and my little. So, but yeah. Okay. Anything else? Otherwise, I'm going to ask you about dating.
We still have time for that.
We definitely have time for that.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I only want to ask this because when we've carpooled before, we've definitely had a lot of conversations when you were in the dating market and kind of philosophies and thought processes. So I thought it'd be interesting. But I don't know, general dating tips, advice for guys and for girls. I know you've been out of it for a little bit, but like I don't know, your stories were kind of interesting.
um, let's see. Well, most of my dating experience is just the apps. I feel like a lot of people would agree that's like the only way to meet people these days. Um, yeah, that's where I met my current boyfriend. But
Yeah, thankfully it worked out.
yeah,
But I'm sure,
hopefully we'll continue
right?
to work out. Um, but well, my youngest sister just started dating, and the things that I've been telling her is
Mm,
kind of to just go into it with an open mind of like I'm trying to find out um what type of people I'm interested in and what kind of values that I would want from a significant other, but don't don't like make them think how do I say this? That they're kind of like a test subject, you know?
mm,
Like kind of go into it with like a I'm just kind of seeing, but also maybe you could be like my long-term partner, you know? So kind of treat every date a little more seriously. I know some people would say the opposite where it's like, "Oh, you're
just
just
have
maybe
fun.
yeah, have fun, one and done, you're just kind of seeing." But I've always been the type to date a lot more exclusively. Like I go into one and then I test it out for a while until I'm like, okay, you're really not um,
Mm,
the one for me. So then you move on. Um,
So you're saying it's not just like the attitude going into that first date is like whatever, this isn't serious,
Mm-hmm.
but actually like trying or like giving it a good effort before
Yeah.
just writing it off.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Um, I don't know. I don't have very many good dating experiences.
That's what I want to hear about. But like, I don't know, worst date experiences or like biggest red flags people should look out for. Like, I guess in the context of someone like your sister who's going into the the shit show of dating apps and whatnot. I don't know. I've never heard of anyone having good experiences until they find someone, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
miraculously. But I don't know. What would you give those, I guess, younger girls advice or just girls in general?
That's hard because everyone
Yeah,
prefers different things.
sure.
Like I know for me and my best friend, we have completely
Mm.
different
Oh, like
types.
types.
Yeah, and so it's like some things I find
Mm.
that she likes, I'm like, that's a terrible thing, and she's totally fine with it. But uh,
Do you think apps are the best way to meet people? Sometimes people say it is, like
yeah.
objectively, because by volume. But some people say no. I've never had a good. My experiences that were good were always like organically in person or whatever. Do you have thoughts on that?
For me, I find that it's the easiest way, at least, because unless you're working in a place that has people that could be your type, or like you have friends that also have friends who they could like hook you up with, there's not too much of that. At least not for me.
Mm.
Because I guess where I went to school in Orange County, all the guys there were not my type.
What?
And
There's so
then
many Asians in OC though.
I know,
Just
but
not your type.
the same type of Asians.
So
It's
they were.
the ones that are good are very rare,
Oh,
or taken.
oh,
So yeah, and then all my friends, we tend to hang out with girls, and I'm into men. So
oh! Wow, shocker.
yeah, so it's just hard to find anyone organically that way.
Mm. I was talking with a mutual friend of ours. I won't out her, but she was saying how it's kind of scary. Okay, this person's in college, so narrowing it down. But this it's scary to think that like she wants to be in a relationship or get into like whatever when she's in college because she knows that as you get older in the workforce, like your social circle gets smaller, which is true, right? Unless you put in effort to expand your circle or be
Mhm.
engaged or find new circles. So that for her is one reason why she wants to find a relationship in college because it's easier because there's so many different collision points with people, and so I think that makes sense.
Mhm.
But I'm conflicted because in hindsight, I know that that's not always the best time to. It is, but it isn't because I feel like the most effective time to date is what as you're growing your self-awareness, your values, your boundaries, and your ability to communicate and have a relationship with someone. And that is almost never going to be when you're very young.
Mhm.
But it's like a hard balance because I know that people want to be in relationships and it's normal and all these hormones and stuff. But I don't know. Most of my younger relationships, like when I was, early 20s and even before that, never turned out right because I was definitely not ready for it.
Mhm.
But it's hard
Right.
to tell someone that, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, I would say I definitely couldn't navigate my current relationship without the experience of my past ones. And I don't know if for her she's finding it um easy to navigate those problems, but I guess it is better if she has people to talk to like you to like um share your experience, and then she can learn that way.
Yeah. The last person I had on the show, well, her episode just came out, Vanessa. She was talking about like her relationships and like her toxic relationship when she was like much younger. And she said the whole thing about making sure to have a community because at least you have a community around you. And if you can't see your blind spots, obviously, when you're in love, quote
Mhm.
unquote. But at least if your community around you who you trust is telling you, hey, there's something here that's not right, or here's some red flags, that's a good sign to get that, third party perspective.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a good rule of thumb is listen to your friends, guys, and your people who care about you
for
because
sure.
they can definitely see past your blind spots. Yeah. Anything else on dating that you feel like would be valuable or hot takes?
No, I just have terrible stories, but I won't be
Ah,
trauma dumping today.
darn. That's what we wanted. Okay, well, it's fine because I think we're wrapping up on time anyways. So All right. Last thoughts or takeaways or anything you want to throw in there before we just have our last two questions?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll end with gratitude. Shout out to my mother. What are you grateful for, Lisa?
Um, the typical friends, family, my boyfriend for supporting me in everything I do. Um, choreos for helping me kind of develop my leadership skills and being my close knit circle of friends for a long while. Um, and JR. I'm always
Yay.
grateful for JR. He's
Yes.
taught me a lot.
I did it, guys. I finally got the shout out. Cool. So where can people find you if they want to see what you're up to, connect, etc.?
I have it's like a K-pop kind of
Like
post
dance.
whatever
Mm.
account. It's Lisa.kr, KR for Korea.
Wow.
And I also have my food Instagram that I kind of just post nice pictures, the occasional I'm just eating at Noms for Lisa
Mm.
if you want to follow that one.
Nice. Yeah, I'll link both of her socials so you guys can check out what she's up to. Okay, Lisa. Well, that is it. Thank you so much for being here. I really
For
appreciate it.
having me.
This felt like a half interview, half random show because it's like, well, let's just hear what Lisa has to say.
It's just yapping.
It's fine.
If you get some wisdom nuggets,
It's
sure.
fine. Some people just enjoy hearing people talk and just hearing their thoughts. You know what I mean? Like turning off their brain and listening to our yapping. So,
Mhm.
anyways, thank you, Lisa, again for being here. I really appreciate it. For you guys, I'll do my sign off. Please like, subscribe, follow, whatever. Leave us comments. Leave Lisa love in the comments below. Wherever you're listening to this, I haven't asked for reviews, but I don't know. Leave me 5 stars wherever you're listening to this. I guess that'll help, but would do whatever you want. I guess. So yeah, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Be sure to reminder to always be kind to other people, especially yourself. And reminder you can always learn something from someone if you take the time to listen. So thanks for being here.
Yay.